Hello everyone. Today I'm going to solve a few problems from using signal flow graph technique. So in the last lecture I had discussed that we whenever we are having any control system, um, control system can have various subsystems in it, and the complete system can be highly complicated also. So it becomes tedious for us to use block diagram technique and then use the that technique to find the overall transfer function. So another technique that we use to simplify the block diagrams is known as signal flow graphs. In signal flow graphs, what we do, we replace the takeoff points and summation points, and instead we replace them with nodes. We also replace these blocks having where we write the transfer function, and we call them as transmittances in signal flow graphs, and then we just draw a line joining the two nodes, and alongside that we call it as a branch, and alongside that branch we write the transfer function. Like if the transfer function is g1, then we will draw a line, and alongside that we will write the transfer function. Okay, so that represents our transfer function for that branch. So everything will be actually it will be reduced to just nodes and branches along with the transfer functions for those branches. So if we are given this block diagram, here we can see that we have this control system with this block diagram. So if you want to simplify it and you want to find the overall transfer function, that is the relation between the output and the input for this complete system, then first of all you will have to convert this complete block diagram into its SFG, that is the signal flow graph. So for SFG, first of all you should be clear that what are the steps that you have to do. So I have made this presentation step by step so that you can easily follow it. You can see that you have one input signal RS over here and the output signal CS over here. So for what we can do first is we just draw the signal, that is RS to CS. Okay, first of all we are drawing the signal RS to CS. Next we we'll start from the input side and we'll come alongside to the output. So at the input we can see that after RS there is one takeoff point at this node, and we have actually jotted down all the we have actually numbered all the nodes over here. So wherever you can see that there is any a takeoff point, or there is any summation point, then you just write it down. Those will be the nodes in the your SFG. So the first node is your node number 1, and you can see that there is a signal which is moving from 1 to this node 6, and the transmittance or the transfer function of this complete branch is actually G4. So we'll write G4 at that point. So we'll write G4. Next, it's also important that you name the nodes. So here also whatever node that you have marked, we'll name those nodes also in your SFG. So we have actually 6 nodes, so we'll quickly draw all those 6 nodes and we'll number them accordingly. Okay, and we also write RS and the output, that is CS. Now just look at this. We were at node 1, we moved from RS, we moved to this node 1, and from node 1 we can see that there is one signal which is going to node 6. The another signal from 1, it is going to node 2. So you also should mark the arrow for this one. Arrows are important, so you should mark the arrow. So another signal is moving to node 2. Then just come to this node, that is second node, At second node, look at all the signals that are coming to this node and that are moving away from this node. So you can see that one of the branch is coming from node 4, and you can see that in this branch we have this gain or the transfer function transmittance as h1. So we'll draw this we'll draw this branch from 4 to 2, and the arrow should be directed towards 2. Okay, and um, then we'll write the transmittance alongside this branch. So one more point that you should understand over here, that when we are having a signal from node 4 to node 2, then you have to if it is coming towards the summation point, then the polarity or the sign that this carries, it should be multiplied with the summation point's polarity. So as the polarity over here was positive and positive was multiplied by h1, hence it became plus h1 only. Another signal is moving from node 2 to node 3, and the transmittance of this branch is g1. So we'll just write g1 alongside this, and as it is coming to with positive polarity over here, so it will be positive only, no need to write it, but it will be positive. Then come to node number 3. At node number 3 we have one signal which was coming from node 2. We have got another signal which is coming from node 4, and this is h1, and this h1 you can see it is actually common to both these. This h1 was common to both these. Okay, and this h1 over here, but it is having the minus sign over at the summation point. So when you have to draw this h1 from node 4 to node 3, directed towards node 3, then you have to understand that minus sign has to be written over here. Okay, next what is coming towards next thing that is going away from this node is this g2. So g2 is moving from 3 to 4. This g2, you will write just g2 alongside this line, and then one more branch is coming to this node from 5. So from 5 you have to make this branch, you have to mark the arrow also, and the transmittance of this will be, now you can understand, it should be minus of h2, so it will be written as minus of h2. Then move from node 3 to node 4. So from node 4, when we come at node 4, you can see that from node 4 to node 5 we have just one transmittance, that is g3, and another thing, the takeoff point from node 4 is going towards node 3 and node 2, so it will be only, it has already been mentioned. Okay, so I'm writing just g3 over here. Then from node 5 you can see that a branch is going towards node 6, and as nothing has been mentioned, so we'll say that the gain of this branch is 1. And at 6 we can see that there is summing point, and that signal is coming from node 1 which we had initially made, so the gain of this branch will be g4. So this actually sums up your signal flow diagram or signal flow technique. Okay, so this was the first part, that is from a block diagram you have to derive the signal flow graph. The second part would be that when you have derived the signal flow graph, then you have to actually analyze the signal flow graph. You have to determine what are the forward paths of that signal flow graph SFG, what are the loops that you can see in this SFG, and are there any non-touching loops, and using all that information you will be substituting all that information in the Mason's gain formula, and then you can directly find out the transfer function. So again I have drawn the signal flow graph SFG over here. Okay, and you have to determine the forward path. So first, whenever it's given, when if a theoretical question is given, that you have to find the transfer function, and you have to give the detailed description of that, you have to give the detailed solution, then step by step you should follow these steps. First step should be always to find out the forward paths. And what do you mean by forward path? In last class I told you, forward path is a path traversed from input to the output, but one thing should be noted, that none of the nodes should be traversed more than once. So that care has to be taken. So you just have to follow the arrows. In this case, you have to follow the arrows which are moving from input to the output. So here we can see that we, from this input signal RS, we are moving to your node 1, then we, this arrow is moving towards node 2, then it's moving towards node 3, and here you can see it's again moving towards node 4, 5 and 6. Okay, and you can also see that alongside this line, this forward path, the transmittances have been mentioned. So when you have to determine the forward path gain, then you have to multiply all the transmittances that you encounter during the path. So as this path is like this, the arrows are continuously directed from 1 to 6. So the transmittances encountered toward in this path were 1 multiplied by g1 multiplied by g2 multiplied by g3 multiplied by 1, and then we got to the output. So our first forward path is g1 into g2 into g3. Can you see another path in this same diagram? Of course we can see that at point at junction node 1 only, we can see that one more path is directed directly towards the node 6. So this is another path, this G4 is another path, and alongside, and in this path, as no other branch is encountered, so the gain of this path will be G4. So first we got this G1, G2, G3, this was our first forward path, and G4 is our second forward path. Can you see another forward path in this example? Like, what if you want to say that we are moving from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, and then we come back to 3, and then again we move like this and we reach 6. So can this also be considered as forward path? What I'm saying is, what if I traverse path like this, and I come back, and then I go back, and then also I'm reaching the output. So this path is also having input and output, and I'm traversing from input to output. Can we consider this also as a forward path? So as you can see that I have not written over here that this is not considered as forward path, but the reason why it should not be considered as forward path is that when we are following a path, I have already told you, none of the nodes should be encountered more than once. So when I am traversing from RS to 1 to 2 to 3, so 3 is traversed once, then we go to 4, when go to 5, and then again we are going to 3. So this is the traversing of the node 3 twice. In fact, node 4 also is traversed twice, and node 5 also is traversed twice. So none of the nodes should be traversed more than once, only then that path will be known as your forward path. So this thing cannot be considered as forward path. Okay, so first step is to identify all the forward paths. You have only two forward paths in this signal flow diagram. The second step will always be that you should always try to identify the loops. That will make the calculations and your understanding very clear. So loop is what? Loop is a closed path which is having which is having the same originating and terminating node. So as you also know, loop is nothing but like a circle. So in a circle you have a node from where you begin, and then at the same point you the thing terminates also. So similarly here also the same logic has been given, that loop is but one more thing, the same thing that we saw in the forward part definition. When you have to identify the loop, there also, apart from this originating node, no other node should be traversed more than once. Only then it will be called as a loop. So apart from this node, none of the nodes should be traversed more than once. Now here, how many loops can you see? Loop, you can see over here, we are moving from 1 to 2. Okay, from 2 we move to G1, then G2, and then we have a path like this you can easily identify, I guess. Like from node 2 we move to node 3, and then we move to node 4, and then we have back a feedback path like this. So here we can say that my this node number 2 can be my originating node, and then the loop is coming back and the path is coming back to the node number 2 only. So this can be my one of the loop. Can there be another loop? Of course there is another loop which we can see right now over here. Then look at this loop. You just look at this node. From this node, when we traverse to node number 4, and then we have a path like this. Okay, so this is forward path and this is your feedback path. So this is another loop. So 3 is the originating and the terminating node, and then we can see one more loop over here. So here you can see that this is loop. You move from node number 3 to node number 5, and then back to node number 3. Okay, so you can see that we are able to identify 3 loops in this example. And when you have to find out the loop gains, when you define loop gains, then that also means that all the gains, the branch gains that you have to multiply all those branch gains, then then that thing is known as your loop gain. So the first loop that we saw, it was this G1, G2 and H1. So this can be my loop G1, G2 and H1. Another loop that we saw was G2, H1. So it is G2, H1 with minus sign. So hence I have written minus G2 into H1. And third loop that we have is G2, G3 minus H2. So G2, G3 and minus H2. When you multiply this, you get these 3 loops. And you can easily understand that you can observe that no other loops can be found over here. The third thing, the first step that we did, from block diagram technique we converted the block diagram into SFG. That was our first step. Second step was to identify the forward path, so that we identified. Third step was that we identify the loops, so that we identified. The fourth step will be to identify the non-touching loops. Okay, that non-touching loop is also required. The knowledge of non-touching loop is required when you see the Mason's gains formula. So here non-touching loop means what? Where whenever you are having, like you are having 3 loops over here, so the non-touching loop means that 2 loops will be called as non-touching only when the nodes are completely independent. The nodes that they are traversing, they should be completely independent. But here you can see in all the 3 loops, by looking at the gain also, you can see that everywhere something is common. Some of the node is always common. One loop was this, okay, another loop was this, and another loop was this. So you can see that some of the nodes and some of the branches are in common to all the 3. So when you have to write about the non-touching loops, you can easily observe that there are no non-touching loops involved in this example. Here also, by looking at the gain also, you can see the first gain is G2H1, second gain is G1 G2H1. that means G2 has been traversed. ठीक है, ये जो है ये common है. These two are obviously they are interacting loops. Similarly, this one and this one, again G2 is common, so they are interacting, so all these are interacting loops and they are not non-touching loops. Okay, so after finding out all this, just we'll just go through the formula that we have for Mason's gain rule or Mason's gain formula that we have. We'll just look at that formula. So in the last lecture I had discussed about it. So Mason's gain formula, this is the slide which had done all the details about Mason's gain formula. The transfer function can be written as a summation from k equal to 1 to n, where k is the number of forward paths. So in the example that we have taken, we have got two forward paths, so k will be from 1 to 2. Okay, in the numerator we have pk del k, and in the denominator we do it divided by del. So pk is what? The kth forward path gain. So we have identified the forward path gain, the two forward path gains we have identified. Next thing that we have to find out is del k. And what is del k? Del k is 1 minus sum of all the loops. Okay, now this is important, sum of all the loops not touching the kth forward path. Means all those loops when we are considering a forward path, जो हमने अभी फॉरवर्ड पाथ देखा कि यहाँ से यहाँ पे हमारा आर एस था, यहाँ पे हमारा सी एस था, तो ये जो फॉरवर्ड पाथ है इससे ऐसा कौन सा लूप है जो टच नहीं कर रहा है. एंड बाय व्हाट डू वी मीन बाय लाइक इट्स नॉट टचिंग दिस फॉरवर्ड पाथ, दैट मीन्स नो नोड शुड बी कॉमन, कोई भी नोड कॉमन में नहीं होना चाहिए. तो ऐसे कौन से लूप्स हैं जो कि इस फॉरवर्ड पाथ को टच नहीं कर रहे हैं. सो दैट मेक्स माय फर्स्ट कंपोनेंट प्लस सम ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ टू नॉन टचिंग लूप्स, सम ऑफ द प्रोडक्ट ऑफ टू नॉन टचिंग लूप्स. बट इन आवर एग्जांपल दैट वी आर लुकिंग एट, वी डोंट हैव नॉन टचिंग लूप्स. सो ये वाला पोर्शन हमारा, इसके आगे का कोई भी पोर्शन हमको नहीं देखना है. ओके, ये हमारे काम का नहीं है, बिकॉज इन आर एग्जाम्पल वी ऑल द लूप्स आर इंटरacting लूप्स ओनली. So for del k we have to find out 1 minus sum of all the loops not touching the kth forward path. And another thing, what is del? Del क्या होता है, ये थोड़ा शिफ्ट हो गया है. Del is something, it is 1 minus sum of all the loops. ठीक है, तो हमारे पास अभी कितने लूप्स थे? 3 लूप्स थे. So 1 minus sum of all the 3 loops plus sum of product of 2 non-touching loops. So again we don't have any non-touching loop, तो इसके आगे जितने भी आपके components आएंगे they are regarding non-touching loops only. तो ये हमारे काम का अभी नहीं है. Alright, so from this you can understand कि हमको किस direction में जाना है. So we'll quickly move to this. So del 1, first of all we have to find out del 1. We have identified forward paths. Del 1 क्या था? 1 minus sum of all the loops which is not touching the kth forward path. तो पहला forward path है हमारा ये, दूसरा forward path है ये. For this path, what are the loops that are not touching this forward path? हमारे पास जितने भी लूप्स हैं, all the loops they are actually in this path only. जितने भी हमारे लूप्स हैं वो इसी पाथ में है. एक ये लूप है, एक ये लूप है, ठीक है. देन वी हैव एक हमारा ये लूप है, दिस वन. ओके, देन वी हैव दिस लूप, दिस वन, and then we have got this loop. So all the 3 loops are in this kth forward path only, मतलब first forward path में ही है. So del will be 1 minus sum of, as none of the loops are touching with not touching with the kth forward path, so it will be only 1. So del 1 will be equal to 1 only. Now when we have to find out del 2 will be associated with this second forward path. What is our second forward path? From node 1 to node 6. This is our second forward path. So for this forward path, ऐसे कौन से 1 minus some of the all the loops which are not touching this forward path. तो देख सकते हो ये फॉरवर्ड पाथ है और जो तीनों लूप्स हैं वो आपके यहाँ पे लाई कर रहे हैं, तो ये तीनों ही इससे नॉन टचिंग होंगे, है ना, ये तीनों ही इस वाले फॉरवर्ड पाथ को टच नहीं कर रहे हैं. सो सम ऑफ दीज लूप्स 1 माइनस सम ऑफ दीज लूप्स, सो व्हाट इज़ दैट 1 माइनस सम ऑफ जो तीन हमने लूप आइडेंटिफाई किए वो उसको आपको ऐड करना है, एंड प्लस नॉन टचिंग लूप्स है ही नहीं इसलिए वो वाले कॉम्पोनेंट आगे नहीं आएंगे. सो वी आइडेंटिफाई del 1, वी आइडेंटिफाई del 2. थर्ड थिंग विच वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई इज del. जो तीसरा चीज़ हमको फॉर्मूले के अकॉर्डिंग निकालना है वो है del में अभी क्या देखें, del इज़ 1 माइनस सम ऑफ ऑल दी लूप्स प्लस सम ऑफ ऑल दी नॉन टचिंग लूप्स. तो कोई भी नॉन टचिंग लूप्स नहीं है इसलिए सिंपल फार्मूला हो जाएगा 1 माइनस सम ऑफ ऑल दी लूप्स. एंड व्हाट इज सम ऑफ ऑल दी लूप्स? दिस इज द सम ऑफ ऑल दी लूप्स, 1 माइनस सम ऑफ ऑल दी लूप्स. व्हेन वी सब्स्टिट्यूट ऑल दिस इन आर फार्मूला क्या था, समेशन n equal to k equal to 1 to n. सो समेशन ऑफ पी के डेल के. सो आपको समेशन करना है पी के डेल के का. के आपका 1 से 2 तक है, सो p1 del 1 प्लस p2 del 2, ये आपका न्यूमरेटर हो जाएगा. डिवाइडेड बाय डिनोमिनेटर इट विल बी del only. सो नाउ यू जस्ट सब्स्टिट्यूट ऑल दीज थिंग्स. p1 की क्या वैल्यू है, that is your k forward path. What is del 1 along with it, what is p2, what is del 2, and what is del. When you substitute everything then you will find out that this is your transfer function. ये आपका transfer function इससे निकल के आएगा. So for this block diagram when you have to find out the transfer function, this will be your transfer function, and you should also verify it using the block diagram technique. अब ये एक्सप्लेन करने में इतना टाइम लग रहा है, लेकिन आई विल टेल यू कि जब आपको एक्चुअल में प्रैक्टिस करना है तो आपको इतना बनाने की भी ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. इफ़ द क्वेश्चन इज़ नॉट गिवन, लाइक अगर आप कभी कॉम्पिटिटिव में जा रहे हैं या फिर आपके पास ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप क्वेश्चन है, तो यू डोंट इवन हैव टू ड्रॉ ऑल दिस. Directly look, if you get that much practice, then directly by looking at the block diagram you will be able to find out the transfer function. It's so easy. Only initially it takes so much time, but otherwise it will be really easy. Similarly, just look at second example that I have taken. This is a bit complicated type of signal flow graph. Here I have not given the block diagram, I have directly given the signal flow graph, and again you have to find out what the transfer function for this signal flow graph. So क्या steps होते हैं? पहला तो है कि you have to derive the signal flow graph, that has been directly given. Second thing, you have to identify the forward paths. Forward path means that the path traversed from input to output. So how many forward paths are traversed from input to output? So here I've listed all the forward paths, and I'll just tell you कि कौन से paths आ रहे हैं इसमें. So just look at this. Just look at the forward path and notice that whether they are correct or not. Like when we are traversing those forward paths, then is it happening that any of the node is traversed more than once? If so, then that should not be considered as forward path. So my first forward path is G2, G4, G6. Just look over here. From RS we move, so we move like this, then G2, this is G4, this is G6, and we are coming to output. So this is my first forward path. Similarly, second forward path क्या लिखा है? G2, G1, G7. So we move G2, then यहाँ पे देख सकते हैं एक bifurcation है, तो ये है G1 and then G7. Okay, this is my second forward path. Then G3 G5 G7. तो G3 कहाँ है, ये देखो, ये G3, then this is G5 and this is G7. This is my third forward path. Then G3 G8 G6. जैसा as you can see this is a symmetrical type of signal flow graph. तो जैसा आपने इधर आइडेंटिफाई किया बिल्कुल वैसे ही आपको लोअर एंड में भी दिखाई देगा. So this is G3 and then what, G3, then G8, then G6 and then we are coming to this. अभी तक नोटिस करेंगे कि कोई भी नोड एक बार से ज़्यादा ट्रेवर्स नहीं कर रहे हैं. ओके, नॉर्मली स्टूडेंट्स आर एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई, इतना आइडेंटिफाई बहुत आराम से हो जाता है. बट अगर इस तरीके के कॉम्प्लिकेटेड डायग्राम्स है, सिग्नल फ्लो ग्राफ्स हैं, तो आपको और ध्यान से देखना चाहिए कि और कोई फॉरवर्ड पाथ तो नहीं बच रहा है. तो यहाँ पे जैसे इसको देखो, फिफ्थ फॉरवर्ड पाथ दैट आई हैव मेंशन्ड इज G3. ओके, this we move G3, then G8. Okay, so just look at this, G3 then G8 then minus H1. तो यहाँ से माइनस H1 में गए. then I have G1, G1 हमारा ये पाथ है, and then G7. okay, तो इस तरीके का जो इस तरीके का कर्व है वो कई बार जब स्टूडेंट्स देखते हैं ऐसा तो इस तरीके कर्व्स उनसे मिस हो जाते हैं. सो यू शुड बी अलर्ट कि आपको आइडेंटिफाई करते बनना चाहिए कि कौन सा है. एंड सिमिलरली ये जैसे इसको आइडेंटिफाई किया बिल्कुल वैसे ही हमको एक और दिख जाएगा, वो है यहाँ से जाएंगे G2. ओके, G2 से फिर हम जाएंगे G1, देन we'll go to minus H2, and then we'll go to G8 and we'll move to G6 and then output. तो ये हमारे 6 फॉरवर्ड पाथ्स हैं जो हमने इस क्वेश्चन में आइडेंटिफाई किए. फाइन, नाउ यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द लूप्स. लूप्स भी यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है बट फिर भी आई विल शो यू कि क्या क्या लूप्स है. एक तो ये लूप क्लियरली दिख रहा है, G4 minus H1, and this is the second loop that you can clearly see, G5 and minus H2. the third loop जो आपको देख सकते हैं वो होगा आपका this G1 minus H2, G8 minus H1. so here again none of the node is getting traversed twice, and your starting node and terminating node is same. So this is your third loop. Can you identify any other loop? If you can then do tell me. अगर नहीं है तो फिर यही 3 लूप्स हैं जो हम आइडेंटिफाई कर पा रहे हैं. ओके, सो ये था हमारा, हमने आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया फॉरवर्ड पाथ, हमने आइडेंटिफाई कर लिया लूप्स. देन वन मोर थिंग दैट वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई इज नॉन टचिंग लूप्स. तो क्लियरली 3 लूप दिखे जिसमें ये दिख रहा है कि ये लूप और ये लूप जो है ये नॉन टचिंग है. सो नॉन टचिंग लूप गेन क्या होगा, ये जो दोनों लूप्स हैं इनके गेन का प्रोडक्ट. सो इट विल बी G4 minus H1, G5 minus H2. ऑल राइट, नाउ वी हैव टू कंसिडर, वी हैव टू कम टू द फॉर्मूला. ठीक है, इतनी चीज़ें आ गई, उसके बाद आपको फॉर्मूले पे फोकस करना है. फॉर्मूला क्या कहता है? फॉर्मूला इज दैट यू हैव टू डू द समेशन फ्रॉम k इक्वल टू 1 to k इक्वल टू n. सो हेयर फ्रॉम 1 to 6 हमको 6 समेशंस करने हैं. समेशन किसके करने हैं? पी के. वी हैव टू डू द समेशन फॉर पी के डेल के. ओके, तो हमारे पास k फॉरवर्ड पाथ्स है, k की वैल्यू है 6, तो हमको एक्चुअली में समेशन इसका करना है एंड दिस होल डिवाइडेड बाय डेल. ओके, सो फॉरवर्ड पाथ्स वी हैव आइडेंटिफाई. नाउ वी हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई डेल के. डेल के क्या होगा? जो भी आप फॉरवर्ड पाथ आइडेंटिफाई कर रहे हैं उससे एसोसिएटेड आपको वही सेम फार्मूला के अकॉर्डिंग निकालना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो फॉर फर्स्ट path that we are having, it is G2, G4, G6. This is G2, G4 and G6. The formula for del K says 1 minus sum of all the loops which are not touching the kth forward path. तो ये जो फॉरवर्ड पाथ है, इसको ऐसे कौन से लूप्स हैं जो इसको टच नहीं कर रहे हैं. वी आर हैविंग ओनली 3 लूप्स ओवर हियर, एक ये एक ये एक ये. इन तीनों में से कौन सा लूप है जो इसको टच नहीं कर रहा है, ऐसे कौन से लूप्स हैं. सो यू कैन identify that only this loop is not touching this forward path, so that you have to mention. So 1 minus the loop which is not touching the kth forward path, that is g5 and h2, so it will be g5 into minus h2. फिर प्लस सम ऑफ नॉन टचिंग लूप्स नॉट टचिंग द kth फॉरवर्ड पाथ, सम ऑफ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ नॉन टचिंग लूप्स नॉट टचिंग द kth फॉरवर्ड पाथ. तो हमारे पास ऐसे कोई लूप्स के कॉम्बिनेशन नहीं है जो कि इस फॉरवर्ड पाथ को टच नहीं कर रहे होंगे, इसलिए इसके आगे का जो फॉर्मूला है वो हमको उस पर फोकस करने की अभी ज़रूरत नहीं है. देन वी हैव सेकेंड फॉरवर्ड पाथ इज G2 G1 G7. दूसरा फॉरवर्ड पाथ हमारा क्या है, दिस इज G2 G1 G7. सो डेल के विल बी 1 माइनस सम ऑफ ऑल लूप्स नॉट टचिंग दिस. तीनों ही लूप्स इसको टच कर रहे हैं, इसलिए इसका वैल्यू हो जाएगा 1. थर्ड लूप G3 G5 G7, G3 G5 G7. जैसे इधर इसका देखे वैसे ही इसमें आइडेंटिफाई कर लोगे कि यही लूप है जो कि इस वाले पाथ को टच नहीं कर रहा है, इस वाले फॉरवर्ड पाथ को टच नहीं कर रहा है. इसलिए डेल 3 की वैल्यू आपकी हो जाएगी 1 माइनस summation of this, so it's actually gain of this, so it's G4 into minus H1. और बाकी सारे ही लूप्स का इसी तरीके से आइडेंटिफाई कर लो, बाकी और सारे फॉरवर्ड पाथ का, दैट व्हाट विल बी द डेल के वैल्यू ऑफ इट, एंड यू विल अंडरस्टैंड दैट फॉर ऑल द अदर वैल्यूज इट विल बी 1 only. And then we have to find out del. So del is 1 minus summation of all the loops. So we are having 3 loops over here. I have written 3 loops, summation of 3 loops, plus product of non-touching loops. So we had product of non-touching loops. ये दो है, ये एक हमारा पास है. So we will have this component over here, and then after that you will see that product of 3 non-touching loops ऐसा है. So यहाँ पे 3 non-touching loops वाला कोई भी केस नहीं है, इसलिए आगे की चीज़ें आपकी हो जाएंगी 0. So this is del. Now just substitute everything in the formula, that is you have to do P1 into del 1 plus P2 into del 2 plus P3 into del 3 and so on till P6 into del 6. That will be the numerator, and in the denominator you have to just substitute this del value. So this will be your transfer function for this control system.